everyone, and welcome to Author Spotlight. I'm your host, Elaine Volpe. We are shooting on location today. It's a beautiful afternoon here at South Park, and joining me is local author Audra Azori Summer, who has written her first picture book entitled I Am More Than Just a Weed. Thanks so much again for joining me today. I'm glad we could finally make this happen.
Thank you for having me.
Tell us a little bit about your book. What made you want to write a children's picture book? What was your motivation behind it?
I had the idea. I was learning about the local plants and how they were helpful medicinally, and some that are edible. And I realized that I actually knew all of these plants from my childhood of playing in the woods. But I never knew their name. I never knew that they had any benefits whatsoever. And it just had me thinking, you know, kids are behind screens all of the time now.
Too often.
Too often. And we want to get them outside and interested. And I just thought this was a really good way to get kids excited about being outdoors.
It's a great introduction, right? Then the next time they can go outside, they can start to look for these, almost like a scavenger hunt, if you will. Exactly. But it will give them something to do while they are spending time outside. So growing up, you spend a lot of time outdoors. Who taught you, or that's what you're saying, you recognize a lot of the plants, but you didn't know their names.
I had no idea.
So you kind of just taught yourself and did some research?
You know, COVID, when everything shut down and we weren't working, and I thought, well, what can I learn that I always wanted to learn? And so I got some books and started learning about the plants, and I just really got excited about it.
I love that.
Yeah.
I think it's just great when you can share your knowledge and your passion about something. So you love being outdoors, you obviously know a lot about plants, and now here you are sharing with others. I think that's so important. But you also did the pictures for this book, so you are an illustrator.
Right.
Tell me a little bit about your art background.
I went to Art Institute of Pittsburgh many years ago, and I wanted to be an illustrator.
Okay.
But life just happened in different ways. I went more the graphic design route, and when I had this idea for this book, I thought, can I even draw anymore? I don't know. It's been so long. So it took me a little while to get back in the groove. But
sure. Again, COVID probably a good time to to get back into that, right? You had the time.
Yeah.
People were looking for hobbies.
Yes,
that's wonderful.
Exactly. Yeah.
You also are a Keystone Oaks grad. We share that. So was there any teacher in high school that maybe inspired you?
Yeah, Miss Wetzel was our art teacher.
I remember her.
Do you remember
her well?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and I took a lot of pottery classes, and I still love doing pottery.
Okay.
So yeah, she definitely helped guide me and teach me to be good at, you know, different techniques and everything. So
it's something that you enjoy. It's something that clearly you do well. Is there a challenging part to illustrating a children's picture book?
Oh,
what was hard about it?
Everything is challenging. You know, art, anything creative is layers, right? So you start out with this basic idea, and then you have to layer on, throw things away, cry a little bit.
Be willing to throw things away, right? Is that hard to sometimes like start over? Like,
well, not anymore.
Because you get frustrated?
Because I'm older now. But when I was young, yes.
Yeah.
It feels like you're failing, but that is just part of the process. You just have to be comfortable with not doing things perfectly the first time, and you just keep, you know, take a deep breath. Start again tomorrow.
Okay. That's good advice for our young viewers, anybody who's
nothing comes easy. You have to work at it.
Yeah, I think that can apply to anything,
right? Right.
Wonderful.
And so now, one of the things that was hard about the book, it was hard to choose which plants to put in the book because there are many more.
There's a lot in there.
There's a lot in here.
Who knew there were so many different types of weeds?
And there are so many more. Just in, you know, walking up here, I'm seeing them that didn't make it to the book. But what I tried to do was put the weeds in the book that you don't have to be in the woods. They're in your garden bed. They're on your driveway. They're in the parking lot. So this can be for kids that live anywhere. You can live in the city
I
and
like
you don't
that.
have to live in the woods.
I like that.
And so you can have your little plant treasure hunt anywhere.
Anywhere.
Yeah.
So all of these many types of weeds that you just mentioned, let's explore some of them through your book. Why don't we take a moment right now for you to read the book to our audience. I am more than just a weed.
Get to know me and you will see. I am very much more than just a weed. We are a lot alike, but we are not the same. They call all of us weeds, but we have our own name. My name is Teasel. I am prickly and tall. I fill up the fields and turn brown in the fall. My name is Moline. I'm soft as can be. I reach for the sky in bright yellow glee. My name is Chicory. I am periwinkle blue. I grow near the road where the cows that say moo. My name is Daisy. My flowers are yellow and white. My name is Dandelion. I have seeds which take flight. My name is Thistle. My leaves are ruffled and spiny. My name is Lady's Thumb. My buds are pink and quite tiny. My name is Clover. I am covered with bees. They like my sweet flowers and my 1, 2, 3 leaves. My name is Buttercup. I glisten in the sun. My name is Violet. I'm a shy little one. My name is Purslane. I sprawl close to the ground. My name is Plantain. My leaves spiral and mound. My name is Jewelweed. My seed pods explode. My name is Greater Burdock. My burrs stick to your clothes. My name is Yarrow. I grow in groups of tiny blossoms. My soft feathery leaves are really quite awesome. My name is Cleavers. I grow long and sticky. I jump on your socks because I am tricky. My name is Wood Sorrel. I am lemony tart. I grow clusters of leaves which are shaped like a heart. My name is Goldenrod. I have golden flowers which feather. My name is Garlic Mustard. I change looks fast in hot weather. My name is Milkweed. I have big rubbery leaves, snow cone shaped flowers, and soft silky seeds. My name is Queen Anne's Lace. I am frilly and white. I dance in the wind all morning and night. Come dance with us under the stars and in the rain. We can't wait to meet you. Please tell us your name.
And I love that there's a space there for them to
Write their name
write
in
their
there.
name and print that name. What a beautiful book, a beautifully written and illustrated story. And you did both. You are both the author and the illustrator. So first of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
I think it is very well done. I am a sucker for a rhyming book, right? So I think it's very rhythmic. I like that it's short and simple text, but I also love that it's teaching us a lot. This is educational. I didn't know daisy's one of my favorite. I would have referred to a daisy as a flower. I always say daisies are my favorite flowers.
Yeah.
Are daisies truly a weed then?
Well, yes and no.
Or am I thinking of two? Are there two different types of daisies?
It's the same. It's the same flower.
Okay.
But the leaves are also helpful.
Okay.
Now, we're not going to teach the little ones about how they can use some of these plants as medicines and foods. We're going to leave that for the older kids.
Okay,
But
yeah.
right now, we just want to teach them how to identify the plants. So when they do become older and want to forage, it'll just become easy to them. They'll instantly know the plants that they're looking for.
I
Yeah,
love it.
so
I think
that's the theory
wonderful.
behind getting.
But there is so much that these weeds can offer us, right? They are helpful in just keeping it very simple for our young audience.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit more about that. Why are weeds helpful to us?
Well, they really help the ground. You'll see that when you're in a barren parking lot and it looks like nothing could possibly grow there, you'll see these certain weeds pop up.
Yes.
And they're actually healing the soil and they're taking the toxins out of the ground. So that's a big thing.
Who
that,
knew?
that
Not
the
me.
weeds do. So
Okay.
even though we get mad when they're growing in the gravel in places we don't want them,
Sure.
they're
serving a purpose.
doing good things for us. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Are some weeds edible?
Yes.
The one that was lemony and tart.
I'm gonna show you.
Okay.
And you're gonna have a taste, and it is delicious.
I'm excited. I forget, the name escapes me at the moment, the Italian name for it, but my dad used to, with my uncle, go pick dandelions. I guess they were dandelions, and then my mom would like saute them up with garlic. So I guess I did know that some were edible because I ate them as a child.
Exactly.
But I guess I didn't realize how many. That there's more than one type.
I didn't either. I had no idea, and so I think that it is exciting to find. And on my website, you will find I put up recipes so the parents can help the children.
I love that.
And you can make some very easy recipes. And I didn't put dandelions up yet, but I will soon. I will
Okay.
get that up there
I
so
will
people
check
can
back.
try it, because
Yes.
that is, you know, a lot of Italians, it's just common. Yeah.
Yeah, I
So,
remember that.
You have your dad's recipe? We can put that up.
I'll have to ask my mother. I don't know. If we do, I will certainly be more than
Okay.
happy to share that with you.
Yeah.
But sure, so why don't we go on a walk and we can do that, just that. You can kind of point out different types of weeds and their names along with any purpose that they might serve or good that they might do for us.
Sounds good.
Okay. So you say you take walks often here in South Park.
I
Do you also have a fairly big backyard? Do you own a lot of land? Like where you live, is there a lot of weeds around you?
There are.
Like you said, it's
Unfortunately, in my flower beds mainly. Yeah. Yes, they are. I live in Peters Township, so we just live in a suburb. I don't have a huge piece of land, but we do have chickens, and my chickens happen to love wood sorrel.
Right, now this is what you said is lemony and tart.
It
That's what it
is.
says in the book, right?
It
Do I get
is.
to
And this is a little seed
try
pod.
a taste?
Give it a taste.
Okay. Here goes nothing. Mmm.
Isn't it good?
I actually love that. I do love lemon, like anything citrusy. It's kind of like right up my alley. But oh my goodness, that's delicious. So how would somebody enjoy it? I mean, are you supposed to just enjoy it like this?
Right. You can make it into a tea,
Okay.
but I like to just nibble on it.
Wow.
It is good.
It is very good. Viewers, you have to give it a try. So for people who do find them in their yards or in their flower beds, as you say, should we be picking them? You said that they're actually doing a job and they serve a purpose. So should people not be picking their weeds in their backyard?
You can pick the weeds. Yeah,
Okay.
there's so many.
Okay. They're just gonna grow
I
right
think
back
you'll be
and-
fine. Yeah.
Okay.
And
Thought I'd ask.
here's another one that's in the book right here. Buttercups. We all know
I
buttercups.
remember picking these as a child, right? There was something, wasn't there
You
a
said,
rhyme that you said when you
dude,
put
you
it under
said,
your chin?
Let me see if you like butter, and you'd hold it under your
That's
chin,
right, and if you
and
saw
if it
the-
reflected yellow.
I remember
So let's see.
doing
Let's see
that.
if
Okay,
you
so
like
do
butter.
I like butter?
You do.
Do you like butter?
Yeah. Who doesn't?
Can I check?
Sure.
I think you do too.
I love it.
All right. So these are buttercups. What else
Oh.
might we find?
Okay. This is Moline. It's just a little baby guy. So that has to grow a lot bigger. Let's see what else we can find. There's a dandelion.
Dandelion. Are you superstitious? Are you going to blow it and make a wish? Yay.
Everybody knows that little guy.
Now, are
So-
those the weed then that we talked earlier about some people cooking? Like my dad used to cook dandelion.
Yes.
Is that what he would bring home?
Yes, it's very nutritious. It's funny. He gets a bad rap, that dandelion, and it's one of the best friends to all of us. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see if I can find a dandelion leaf to share so that the kids can recognize it. They're really toothed. Jaggedy.
That's the leaf of a dandelion.
Yes, and that's what your dad
That's
would make
what I
you.
would eat. Mm-hmm. With loads of olive oil and garlic.
Nice. Anything's good with loads of
That
olive
is
oil
true.
and garlic,
That is
right?
true.
This is thistle, but I'm not going to pick that one because it is spiny and sharp. And it does look a lot like a dandelion leaf, right? Except
It does.
for
It's
it's a
very
little
similar.
more ruffled and it has the spines on it. So be careful with that one, kids. Okay, I found cleavers.
If I'm remembering correctly, this is the one in the book that you say sticks to clothes.
It sure does. Are you ready?
Sure. How about that? It works.
Like Velcro.
Now, what it is just like Velcro. So, what is it on this weed that makes it
It's
stay?
little spinies, tiny little spines that crisscross. And so it's just like
Wow.
Velcro. That's sticking to my finger right now. Now, further on in the summer, it will have the little balls that if you've ever had a dog, you know they get all in their fur,
Yes.
the tiny little
Okay.
green. So it's not as fun then as it is
No,
right now.
indeed not.
Right now, it was easy to take back off of you. But we used to, when we were young, we would always have battles with these, stick them on each other.
Love it. We really are finding a lot. Here's yet another one. What is this one called, Audra?
This is a little baby milkweed. So that will get very, very tall.
Okay.
It will have big flowers that then turn into these seed pods that has the silkiest white fluff in it. They're really, really fun to find. But this little
these
guy
are
has
baby
far to
milkweed.
go. Yeah, he has a lot of growing to do. So around fall, the seed pods will be releasing. Okay, this is garlic mustard.
Okay.
It is
So
edible and it has a garlicky taste.
another taste test. Here we go. I like it. Definitely has like a strong
Strong
flavor, right?
Yeah.
Especially like the aftertaste. But I like it.
So this is plantain, not to be mistaken for the plantain that looks like a banana.
Banana.
And everyone has seen this plant. It grows everywhere. This plant, if you can make what's called a field poultice with it. If say you get a
Okay.
bee sting or a splinter, you chew it up and then you put it on that cut and it takes the sting away and it
That's
helps to heal
amazing.
it. So this is a really good one to know.
So as we learn more about them, so we know that a lot of them are good for us. They even have nutritional value. Are there any weeds out there that are not good for us that could potentially be harmful?
Definitely.
Okay.
Yes, there are. And I am going to put that up on my website too so that kids know what to stay away
Sure,
from.
because that would be important to know the difference.
I mean, right in our area, we're going to say the poison ivy, the poison oak. You don't want that.
yes. Okay.
But also, you don't want to eat buttercups,
Okay.
which is in your hand. You don't want to eat that. And
What would happen? Just out of sheer curiosity. Tummy ache?
I think
or
you would have
rash?
to eat so much for it to really hurt you, but it's better
Okay.
to stay away. Yeah. Here's a little baby jewelweed. Jewelweed usually grows by the water. It is filled with, it's very watery inside of it, and that liquid that is in there is great for poison ivy.
Oh, it would help soothe
Yes.
the itch and
Yeah.
the burn of poison
Yeah.
ivy.
And one of the most
Interesting.
interesting things is that usually where you find poison ivy, you will find jewelweed, and vice versa.
That is very interesting.
Right.
So we mentioned once the kids learn about these types of plants and weeds, they might have fun going on a scavenger hunt and trying to identify them outdoors. And I think that's something that can be a lot of fun as well as educational. But let's talk a little bit about just the importance about being outside and surrounding ourselves with nature. You said you enjoyed that growing up. So as a young girl, you played a lot outside. I did too. What did you love about it back then? And what do you love about it today? Why do you think it's so important for kids to do that today?
I was going to say, I still do that.
Yeah,
all the
right? Because
time.
we're never too old to play. That's a great point. Yes.
I am hiking in this park probably at least 2 times a week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so for instance, I used it back then and I use it now. Say you feel a little stressed out or you're not sure, you're with your work or your schoolwork, your brain isn't exactly in the right spot. You go to the woods, you walk, and those answers will come to you.
I believe that, right? Taking a walk outside is a great way to kind of de-stress. For me,
Decompress.
if I'm feeling anxious about anything, a walk I find will really do me a lot of good. But I think you're right. Sometimes those answers come to you. I think it's just, what do you think it is? Just like that change of scenery, right? Where like if you're at home and you're feeling stressed about schoolwork or work.
We are always surrounded by so much noise and so much technology, phones ringing, phones
Yes.
buzzing, TVs on, radios on, and you get into the middle of the woods and there's nothing
Right. I
except
think you have
for
to,
the
like, leave
sounds of
that.
the animals and the leaves rustling and the wind blowing, and there's a different feel to it. And it's
There's
very
something really to be
peaceful
said about that.
and grounding. And it's something that we don't slow down enough, especially in this world. And even the kids, from one sport to school to this and that. And if they come outside, they can just slow down. They can, pick up one little plant and just investigate it. On the website, morethanjustaweed.com, there's a ton of free downloads so that kids can investigate each plant fully, and it
Yeah,
will show
that's wonderful.
the different shapes of different leaves and the different petals on the flowers, so that they really can. It's science. It's everything.
Absolutely.
And it just gives them something to get their brain moving
Something
while
to
they're
ponder,
outside.
right? I feel
Right.
like kids of all ages, but especially at a young age, are naturally curious, right? So when you're
Yeah.
outdoors, there's more opportunity to be curious. There's more to investigate, like you said,
Yes.
right?
And sometimes we say, go outside and play. They don't know what that means. So here is something, here is what you can do. Here's
Yeah.
something to follow. Go outside, look for this leaf, and then move on to the next plant.
So Audra, I just want to thank you again for joining me on this episode of Author Spotlight, but also for sharing your passion, sharing your love for nature, and sharing your knowledge with young readers in this beautifully written, beautifully illustrated story, I Am More Than Just a Weed. Please tell our audience where they could go to purchase a copy of this book.
You can go to my website, www.morethanjustaweed.com, and there's tons of free downloads to get the kids outside and excited about weeds.
Yeah, don't forget to check those out. Summer is right around the corner. This will give you something fun to do outdoors as a family, right? I love it. You can do it
Yeah.
on your own, but you can also make it a family activity.
Absolutely.
Which is wonderful too. Now, this picture book is your first picture book, but it's not your only artistic endeavor. Tell the viewers what else you do. Tell us what you do for a living.
For a living, my website for the things I do for a living is audraazori.com, and I make stainless steel ornaments that are based on all different places: Pittsburgh, national parks, soon to be in the National Mall in DC.
I love that. That's so
Yeah,
exciting.
Very exciting. So
Congratulations
they're in
to
a
you.
lot of museum shops, and what I do is I create custom pieces for people. So
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you again for joining
Thank
us. Thank you
you.
everyone for watching, and we'll see you again real soon on another episode of Author Spotlight.